We have a vacant rectangular lot being turned into a community vegetable garden measuring 15 by 12 meters. A path of uniform width is to surround the garden. If the area of the garden and the path combined is 378 square meters, find the width of the path. Okay, first thing you should always do, no matter what the problem is, draw the picture. If you can draw a picture, you're half the time halfway there. So I'm going to start there. Okay, let's see here. So I've got my rectangular lot, and then I want to put a path of uniform width around it. And they told me this is 15 by 12, and since this is uniform, that means all the sides are, we're going to call it X, and we're trying to figure that out. And we know the total area is 378. Now, area of a rectangle is simply length times width. So the length of the whole thing is going to be 15 plus an X on each side. And then the width is 12 plus the X on each side. And that has to equal 378. Now we just need to solve this equation. So this is the worst part, right? This is the part we all go, ah, but then it's not so bad. So I'm going to start by doing this. So I'm going to do, I have to FOIL 15 times 12. So I have to get the 0 alone, right? So 180 plus 24x plus 30x plus 4x squared equals 378. And since I have this x squared here, I know, hey, I should set this equal to 0. It's going to be a quadratic. So that's what I'm going to do next, okay? So let's see here. That's 54x. Now this, I want to bring this over here. So it's 180 minus 378. Negative 198 equals 0. Now my first thought is can I do this by hand? Can I pull that 4 out? 54 divided by 4? No. Yeah. Okay. So at this point, I could pull a 2 out, right? And I could do 2x squared plus, what's 54 divided by 2? 27x, that's 99. I look at that and think, oh, that looks icky. So I'm just going to use the quadratic equation. Now, certainly you can keep going. This would work out. It's not that horrible. It's just, well, I have the quadratic for a reason. So I'm going to plug it in. Negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, what was c? Negative, remember to bring the sign, over 2a. Okay. So now this is, I'm going to actually switch from writing, and I'm just going to, at this point, pull out my calculator. So let's let this flip around here. Okay. So when I do this, what I do is I start under here. So I'm going to start here, okay? Because that's what order of operations say, right? They say start with the parentheses. And in this case, that radical is my parentheses. So I have 54 squared. Now the two negatives are going to make a plus. So now I have 16, 4 times 4 times 198. So under the radical, I have 6,084, which I am hoping is a perfect square. Okay, 1 second. Okay, and then I'm going to use my answer key so I don't have to rewrite it. So 78. So at this point, I have negative 54 plus or minus 78 over 8. Now here's the thing, guys. I've got 2, right? So I have negative 54 minus 78 over 8, or negative 54 plus 78 over 8. Which one is it? It's this one, right? Why? Because this would give you negative. That top's going to be negative, a negative minus a negative, minus more, deeper in the hole. I can't have a negative path. My path doesn't have negative width. So I know it's this one. So this is just basic common sense. Look at the problem. And then I just have to do a little bit of stuff. So negative 78, negative 54 plus 78, that's where I go. And then divide by 8, which I could do in my head, 3. My path is 3 meters wide. And I will dock if you don't give me that meters. So my math lab a lot of times gives it to you, but if you have to write anything in the graphing assignments, make sure you are labeling. I will dock if you don't label. I dock my own kids. I make them redo their homework, and they try to tell me their teachers don't care, and I say, well, I care, and I make them do it anyways. So hopefully that helps you. The setup for most of us is just what we need practice. So if you have any trouble with this, I would just make sure you do a couple and really kind of, practice writing equations. We need to do it all the time. It's one of those skills that, that's probably the hardest part. Most of us can follow the steps once we have an equation. It's getting the equation. So we just want to keep practice, practice, practice.